Have you ever looked around your home and thought, do I really need all this space anymore? Or maybe you've caught yourself paying to heat the whole house in January, only to realize you haven't stepped foot into the guest room since last Easter. If that sounds familiar, you're in good company. It's about making a decision that supports the next chapter of your life, financially, emotionally, and practically. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 6 real-world tips that'll help you downsize, not just smarter, but with confidence. We'll talk about how to get clear on your reason for moving, what numbers to really pay attention to, how to handle the emotional side of letting go, and even how to test drive downsizing before making it official. This isn't about rushing into anything or living with less than you need. You've got to get clear on one simple but powerful question. Why are you thinking about downsizing in the first place? It's about making thoughtful decisions that keep your financial health strong, your comfort intact, and your peace of mind front and center. And if you're anything like most folks I talk to, you've probably got mixed feelings about it. Because the truth is, this answer is going to shape every other decision you make from here on out. You might be thinking, what if I regret selling? Or will I feel cramped? Or how do I even begin to figure this out? She asks, 73 and full of energy, one of those people who has always got a garden project or a trip planned, about being closer to loved ones or getting ahead of future needs. Because not all savings are as obvious as they seem, write it down if it helps, because when the hard choices come, and they will, knowing your why makes everything else fall into place a little easier. She downsized last year, moved from her 4-bedroom colonial to a tidy little townhome. At first, she said it was about saving money. But after a few months, she admitted that what she really wanted was to be near her daughter and grandkids. The financial benefit was real. Sure, but the emotional pull was stronger, or you start thinking about what happens if you or your partner ever need help getting around. A one-level home, closer to medical care, starts sounding more like peace of mind than sacrifice. The mortgage is gone, but the property taxes keep climbing. The cost of maintenance, roof repairs, landscaping, heating bills, just dose and tea makes sense anymore for a house that's half empty most of the time. That's a completely valid reason, but for others, it's more about lifestyle. Less house means less cleaning, fewer things to worry about, and more time to travel, to visit the grandkids, or just to enjoy life at a slower pace. This is a space for thoughtful, vibrant folks like you to learn from each other, and your voice matters here. For a lot of folks in their 60s and 70s, the idea of downsizing creeps in slowly. It starts as a passing thought. Maybe when you re-mowing the lawn and your back reminds you not 40 anymore. Or maybe it hits all at once, like when a big repair bill shows up or the taxes go up again. And suddenly the house that once felt full of life and energy starts to feel a little too big, a little too quiet, and a lot more expensive than it needs to be. But here's the thing. Downsizing isn't to just about selling a house and moving into a smaller one. That's exactly what we're going to talk about today. These tips come straight from folks who've walked this path, people just like you, who've figured out how to make a move that supports their lifestyle and their wallet. And if something in this video hits home for you, if it gives you an idea, a little comfort, or even a nudge in the right direction, I'd love for you to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and maybe share your thoughts in the comments below. Alright, let's get into it. And we're going to start with something that might surprise you before you look at a single listing or touch a single moving box. Number 1, know your why before you pack a box, before you even start thinking about what to take or what to toss. Take a quiet moment, maybe with a cup of coffee or tea, and ask yourself, why am I really considering downsizing? Some people do it purely for the finances, and then there are those moments when health starts nudging the decision. Maybe the stairs are getting harder. I'll tell you about my neighbor, June. So before you start looking at listings or talking to real estate agents, give yourself that clarity. Is this move about cutting costs? About simplifying life? And once that reason feels clear in your heart, then it's time to start looking at the numbers. Number 2, crunch the right numbers, not just the obvious ones once you're clear on why you're downsizing. The next step is to look at the numbers, but not just the ones everyone talks about. Yes, selling your home might bring in a nice chunk of money, especially if you've built up equity over the years. But it's not just about how much you get from the sale, it's about how much actually stays in your pocket after everything else is paid for. Let's say you sell your house for $400,000. That sounds great, right? But after paying your real estate agent, maybe fixing the roof or updating the bathroom to get the sale through, plus taxes, moving costs, and a few unexpected surprises, that number could shrink by tens of thousands. One couple I spoke with had to spend $12,000 just getting their place market ready. New carpet, fresh paint, landscaping, all the things their agent said would help it sell faster. It worked, but it was a wake-up call. And then there's the cost of the new place. You might think you're downsizing in square footage, but some condos or retirement communities have monthly HOF fees that can really add up. $300 here, $500 there. Suddenly, your monthly expenses don't feel so downsized anymore. Utility costs are another hidden layer. Older homes can be drafty and expensive to heat, sure, but newer places sometimes come with electric only setups that spike your bill in the winter, or you may have to pay for things like trash pickup separately. It's not always better, it's just different. Furniture is another sneaky one. You might end up needing new pieces to fit the space, or a storage unit for things you're not quite ready to part with. All of that costs money. So here's the rule of thumb. Look at your current monthly and yearly costs, then compare them, honestly, to what your expenses will look like in the new place. Include everything, even the little stuff like internet plans, parking, fees, or what you'll spend eating out more often if your kitchen gets smaller. Downsizing can absolutely bring financial freedom, but only if you go in with both eyes open. Once you know the real math, you'll be in a much better place to decide what makes sense for your future. Number 3, start decluttering early and emotionally smart now. Once the financial picture is clearer, the next part, and for many folks, the hardest part, is dealing with stuff. And let me tell you, we've all got more of it than we think. That attic you haven't opened in years? The closet you just keep adding to? Yeah, they're full of decisions waiting to be made. That's why it's so important to start early, not just because it takes time, but because letting go, especially of things that carry memories, takes emotional space too. It's not just a clean out, it's a process, so don't rush it. Set a pace that feels manageable. Maybe it's 1 drawer a day or 1 room each weekend. The point is, slow and steady wins this race. And here's something that helps. Don't try to sort everything all at once. Instead, use a 3-pile method. Yes, no, and maybe the yes pile is for things you love and use the no pile. That's for donations, gifts, or things you're ready to release. And the maybe pile, that's your emotional grace zone. If you're not ready to decide, it goes there for now. Revisit it in a week or 2. You'll be surprised how often the answer becomes clearer with time. I knew a man named Harold, Vietnam vet. Proud grandfather, the kind of guy who kept every tool he'd ever owned. When he started downsizing, he couldn't bring himself to get rid of his workbench, or the hundreds of little screws, bolts, and nails he'd saved over the years. But when his grandson showed an interest in woodworking, Harold passed the tools on. Not just the hammer and saw, but stories, memories, pride, he said. It felt more like a gift than a goodbye. So, if you're holding on to something special, a rocking chair, a set of china, even old photos, think about who might love it next. Passing things on with intention can be deeply rewarding. It's a way to stay connected, even as you make space for a new chapter. And remember, this part takes heart, not just hands. Be kind to yourself through it. Every item you let go of is a step toward a lighter, freer future, and that future, it's got room for everything that truly matters. Number 4, choose the right type of smaller home. So you've gotten clear on your why, sorted through the numbers, and maybe even started trimming down your belongings. Now comes one of the biggest questions. What kind of smaller home actually fits your life now and in the years to come? Downsizing doesn't mean you need to squeeze into a tiny box. It's about finding a place that matches your lifestyle, your energy, and your plans. For some folks, that's a cozy 1-story ranch with just enough yard to keep a few rose bushes blooming. For others, it's a modern condo with no lawn to mow and an elevator to take you upstairs. And for some, it might even be a 55-plus community with a clubhouse. activities, and neighbors who love a good game of cards on Thursday nights. One woman I know, Barbara, 70, sharp as a tack, moved from her suburban home to a second-floor apartment. In an active adult complex, she said, "I traded my lawnmower for pickleball. It fit her perfectly, but that same setup wouldn't have worked for my cousin Carl, who has mobility issues and needed something without stairs and close to his doctor's office." Here's what I always tell folks. Don't just look at the square footage, look at the daily flow of your life. Do you cook often? You might want a kitchen with more counter space. Do you like sitting outside with a morning coffee? A small patio or balcony could mean the world. Think about how you live and how you want to live also. Don't forget about resale value and future accessibility. You may feel spry now, but that second-story walk-up might not be so fun 5 or 10 years from now. Look for things like step-free entries, walk-in showers, wide doorways, not because you need them today, but because it saves you a big headache down the road. And one more thing, be sure to spend some time in the neighborhood. Visit during the week and the weekend. See who's out and about. A beautiful home won't mean much if the surroundings don't feel right. The right smaller home isn't just about saving money or space. It's about adding ease to your life. And when it's a good fit, it won't feel like downsizing it. It'll feel like you just got upgraded to exactly what you need. Number 5, consider location as part of the financial plan. Let's say you figured out the kind of home you want. Now comes a part that's just as important, if not more. Where are you going to live? Because location isn't just about weather or scenery, it's a big part of the financial equation, and sometimes it's the part that saves or costs the most in the long run. Take property taxes, for example. They can vary wildly depending on the state or even the county. One couple I knew moved from New Jersey to North Carolina, and just that move cut their yearly property taxes by more than $4,000. Add in cheaper insurance and lower utility bills, and suddenly they were saving enough for a little beach vacation every year. Then there's the cost of everyday living, groceries, gas, healthcare, even a haircut. Websites like Best Places, Net, can help you compare what it costs to live in one city versus another. And it's not always about going somewhere cheaper. It's about going somewhere that fits your lifestyle and budget better. Sometimes being closer to family can actually save you money, fewer flights, less need for paid help, and more. Hands around when you need them. Another thing to think about is access. Are you near good hospitals? Are the pharmacies close? If you don't drive as much anymore, is public transit available? Or are you going to spend more money on Uber rides and delivery fees just to keep things manageable? Sometimes a place might look perfect on paper. Quiet, scenic, affordable, but if it leaves you feeling isolated or disconnected, that's a cost too. Don't forget state tax laws either. Some states don't tax Social Security benefits. Others have lower or no state income taxes at all. Florida, for instance, is a favorite not just for sunshine, but because retirees can stretch their dollars a little further there. Here's the bottom line. Downsizing smart means thinking beyond the walls of your next home. The zip code you choose plays a huge role in your monthly spending, your daily routines, and your overall happiness. And if you find a spot that checks your boxes, financial and emotional, that's where the real value begins. Number 6, don't forget the emotional and social side now. Let's talk about something that doesn't show up on spreadsheets, but can make or break your downsizing experience. I'm talking about the emotional and social side of it all, because while you might be ready to part with square footage, parting with routines, memories, and even your community, that can be a whole different challenge. It's easy to focus on the logistics, the house, the costs, the boxes, but moving also means change, and change, especially at this stage in life, comes with emotions. That living room where you hosted every Thanksgiving, the neighbors who've become like family, the grocery clerk who knows you by name. You don't just walk away from those things without feeling it. My cousin Elaine moved into a beautiful condo by the beach, smaller place. Great view, all the amenities, but after a few months she called and said, "I miss my Tuesday walking group and the noise of my old neighborhood." It wasn't that the new place was bad, it just wasn't hers yet. She hadn't built those connections. And that, more than any financial detail, was what hit hardest. That's why it's so important to think about how you'll stay connected or reconnect after the move. If you're leaving longtime friends behind, how will you keep in touch? Can you find a new church, a club, or even a local senior center that feels welcoming? Will you be near family, or at least close enough for regular visits? And don't underestimate the power of routine. If you're used to having coffee on your porch, make sure your new place has a spot that brings you that same peace. If you love chatting with neighbors, find a community where folks actually wave and stop to talk the good news. Emotional adjustment gets easier when you give it some thought ahead of time. The goal isn't just to live in a smaller space. It's to feel at home in it, to carry what matters most with you, your memories, your sense of self, your ability to connect and belong. Downsizing isn't just a move, it's a transition. And like any big life shift, the smoother it feels emotionally, the better it works in every other way. So let's take a breath and look back at what we've walked through together today. Downsizing, when done with care, isn't about giving something up. It's about creating space, not just in your home, but in your finances, your schedule, and even your peace of mind. It's about choosing to make this next chapter one that fits your life now, not the life you had 20 years ago. And if that sounds like something worth thinking about, I'd say you're already on the right path. We talked about starting with your why, the heart of the whole decision. Maybe it's about being closer to the grandkids. Maybe it's about ditching a mortgage that's weighing you down, or maybe it's just about having less to clean and more time to breathe. Whatever your reason is, make sure it's clear, because it'll help you stay grounded when tough choices come up. Then we crunch the numbers, and not just the obvious ones. You now know it's not only about how much your house sells for, it's about what you'll spend on moving on a new place, and on all the little hidden costs that can sneak in under the radar. You've got the tools now to ask the right questions and to avoid expensive surprises. We walked through the emotional journey of letting go of stuff and how starting early and making it intentional can actually feel freeing. You've got a method now and maybe a few stories to hold on to. You've explored the kinds of homes that might fit your lifestyle better, whether that's a condo, a cozy apartment, or a one-story bungalow that makes everyday life just a little easier. And you know how the location, not just the house, can make a big financial and emotional difference, from taxes to transit to just being able to grab a coffee with a friend. It all matters. And finally, we touched on the heart of it all, how you feel after the move. Because a beautiful new space won't mean much if you feel lonely, disconnected, or out of place. Downsizing should lift you, not isolate you. So now you know to plan for the people, the routines, and the moments that bring life to your day. Now, here's my encouragement to you. Pick just one thing from today's video. Maybe it's having that first conversation with your spouse or family. Maybe it's calling your insurance agent to compare rates. Or maybe it's walking through your home with fresh eyes and asking, what do I still use? What really matters? Whatever it is, start there. One step leads to another, and before you know it, you're not just downsizing a house, you're upgrading your lifestyle. If something in this video gave you clarity, comfort, or even just a good story to think about, I'd love it if you hit that like button, subscribed to Vibrant Elders, and shared your thoughts in the comments below. This is a journey best walked together, and your experience might help someone else feel a little braver about taking the next step. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. You deserve a home and a life that fits you, and if downsizing is part of that journey, I hope it leads to more freedom, more joy, and more room for what truly matters. Take good care. You've earned it, and I'll see you in the next one.